ready?
We're ready.
Do we have a flag?
Behind you.
Okay, let's start. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, are we taking a roll? Is that what we do here?
Yes.
Okay, let's start with that.
Herb Newman,
Here.
Joe Bailey.
Here.
Tanya Block, Mark Spisak,
Here.
Tina Ugrin. Here.
Did everybody get a chance to read the September 14th board minutes?
Yes.
Any objections?
No.
Hearing none? All in favor? Mark, are you in favor?
Yes,
Yeah?
I am.
I need,
Very much
I need a
so.
move and a second, please.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you.
Do we all said?
Second?
I'll second it.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hearing no disapproval, it's passed.
Thank you.
And we have the esteemed executive director's report.
I do, thank you. I have a presentation by Nick today. He's going to talk a bit during the director's report. Are you set for that?
Yeah,
Yep.
let me, I'm gonna get the lights and the shades.
Okay. We get to show off our shades that go up
Wow.
and down too. Oh, you're fine.
Really,
This kind of thing where my old man would say, close the door, you born in a barn?
right. Wow.
Oh, that's better.
We didn't have the electric ones before, we were climbing up on ladders. A little awkward. I'm not sure what all that is.
There you go.
Okay. So, as Lisa mentioned, trail priorities. So, we work with AMATS, who is the local organization that sends federal funds to us. So, in order to get that funding, we identify our trail priorities to them every 5 years. So, the priorities I'm going to share with you are from 2020, but I just wanted to kind of briefly, just quickly go through some of our priorities. So this is our trail network. This map is like very confusing, but because there's so much information here. County outline, you can see here's the towpath here, the Freedom Trail, the bike and hike trail comes down here. And one thing you look at is you see it's kind of the Big Dipper, so as a landmark. So our first priority, identified with one there, is the Freedom Trail. We all know the Freedom Trail's been under construction for some time. We're asking the board this month for permission to rebid the third section between Market and Mill. So we're happy that is moving forward. We're also working on Freedom 4, which is the section from Mill Street to the Spaghetti Warehouse. So we are working with an architect, with a landscape architect and a bridge designer, MKSK and their sub-consultants, and this is a concept for the bridge over Broadway. And then all the way up at the other end of Freedom Trail is where the Freedom Trail terminates at the county line, which is at Middlebury. And this is just a kind of concept, but you can see, let's see if I can do this. You know, I have a laser here, it doesn't work on the screen. But we're tying into the existing Freedom Trail with the bike trail and then a 53 stall parking lot across a new bridge over the CSX railroad tracks. And then this area of purple is some land we just acquired that will allow us to connect to the Portage, which is Portage County's bike and hike trail. And by the way, this was, I think you may remember, we were trying to get this property over here, and Herb, do you remember what the amount was? 1.5 million.
You mean that moron wanted to sell us the property but keep it?
Yes.
Is
Yes.
that the guy?
Sorry, I shouldn't.
You want me
regrets.
So this $40,000 reroute is a huge, we're so happy. Things take time, but we
It
that
saved
worked
your
out.
life too, by the way.
Yes, thank you. So this is an image of what's going on there now. So the bike trail kind of used to terminate here or to the small parking lot. Now the trail continues up here to that parking lot. And it's really prevalent when you're driving down Middlebury. We opened up the sight lines to really allow for people to use it safely. The next section is the Highbridge Trail, and I've shared this with you in the past, this is Valley View, where we are, of course, with a new bridge across the Cuyahoga. And we're talking about tunneling under Cuyahoga Street here, or maybe an Akron crossing and another bridge to connect Chuckery and Oxbow, and then eventually getting up to the Highbridge Trail. Now, the grade change between here and here is about 150-foot difference, but the city of Akron, like the tunnel they dug underneath Akron near the mussel store, they're going to be digging another tunnel here underneath North Hill for stormwater storage. And we're working with them, so when they're disposing of their soils, they'll build a trail down for us. So we're looking for those wins, and we see a great potential solution there. Our third priority is the Silver Creek Trail. And I don't think, there was originally a Three Creeks study trail that was done, here. And by the way, if you look at the county, you look at these gaps. And so, for instance, here's an Immiscilla. We're working with the city of Greene to make sure that we're really we're putting money into that amenity and working with them with their master planning. They're doing a trail network to allow connections to the park. And that's how they felt we could best serve them, is to create an amenity that is really working well. I think our usership, since we've taken that park over, is triple of what it was when we originally got it. So I was out there one day, and in the one bay that I was in, I counted 40 kayaks. People are really going there and using the park, so that's great. But this trail will allow for the other trails that are part of the Three Creeks study. But what that looks like is connecting to the towpath, going through Barberton, across Lake Dorothy, and then connecting to our Silver Creek Metro Park. So that's those east-west connectors. If you're familiar with the park, the trail network in Summit County, the east-west connectors are huge. Lake Dorothy has been our biggest stopping point, and I'm happy to say we're really working well with PPG on negotiations, so hope to have some exciting news for that in the future. And then number 4 is, you can see that the towpath and the bike and hike trail nearly touch in Sagamore, and working with the Cleveland Metro Parks, it's one of their goals to connect that. So we're working with them for us going after a project together as co-applicants. It helps our scoring, and the construction of this would be very easy, and it's a short segment that would create that connectivity. And then the number 5 one, we're going to go into a little bit more depth. Task force is here to talk about this a little bit, and so I wanted to kind of let everybody know how we got to where we are today on the 5th section, which is, this is the Akron Secondary Trail. So again, back to that trail network and the loop here. This is what the bike and hike trail is. It's a couple different trail sections. It's this trail and then this one. But what happens here, here's a zoom in this area, is that at Springdale, we have people out on the road. And, so our number one thing when we're prioritizing trails is safety. And that's the only part of our trail network, correct me if I'm mistaken, Lisa, that we're putting people on the road. So by getting the Akron Secondary Trail, and here, this just shows that really there's 56% of people are comfortable riding a bike in a protected situation, a shared use path. Like, we are in the business of building bike superhighways. So wherever we can do that, we're going to do that just to make people feel safer. but also making them safer because they're not on the road, they're not on the edge of the road. So that's one thing that we wanted to achieve. So how do you do that? Before I started here in 2005, there was a study done of the corridor. It's an abandoned rail corridor. It goes from the North Side Station up to Hudson. Now, the North Side Station, there's a leg that goes from Arlington to North Side Station near Luigi's, which is all of this land that we're talking about, by the way, is owned by Metro RTA. They're using that for freight and are not willing to allow us to go that way. So the alignment of the Freedom Trail ended up being what it is. But what I'll show you what we're talking about connecting based on them not wanting us to go to the north side. So this is an aerial view showing, here's the Gorge Metro Park, Cuyahoga Falls, North Hill, and you can just see the population density. That abandoned rail line goes right through there. You probably would not even know it. And what this connection down here versus north side, which is over here, connect to the Freedom Trail, go up and then connect to, you can see that little black line, that is Springdale. And what that allows us to do, well furthermore, at that, here's Springdale again, there's an existing railroad siding here. So it's an abandoned rail corridor siding. We have a service center that is failing. We've got a building that is actually splitting in two. The earth force is making the building break in half. So we looked for some land to build a new service center. Found this land. I think Alex was driving to work and saw it and said that looked good. We went and got a great deal on it. Us buying the siding will allow us to have not only our service center, but we can have a trailhead parking lot there. And our crews can get on a lawnmower and drive here and go 7 miles. It's 7 miles from here down to the Freedom Trail. So maintenance of it is easy. We're looking, I always look to operations. We don't want to bite off more than we can chew. So that is the why we decided to connect, stop at Springdale. In 2016, so a few years ago, we went to Metro RTA and said, hey, could we have this land? This is Richard NT, and he's not there any longer, but in the meantime, we worked with the local residents. This is 2017. We're on the steering committee for the trail plan, for the Downtown Hudson Trail Greenway plan. And then they came up with this plan that shows how they want their bicycle trails to be through Hudson. So that line is represented here. And that's zooming in, so you see the blue line, here's Springdale, here's the trail. Now, this is a section that's in conversation. Should we build that? And our contention is that based on our existing service, that this is redundant and not having to have operations have to mow to a redundant trail. So when you look at our priorities, that's not listed as a priority. In 2019, we started the conversation with task force. And we did state at that time, we said that it is redundant. So again, this is the dash line shows what we're proposing is a 7-mile trail, and then this is the 3.3-mile extension. And then furthermore, 2020, working with Hudson, they interviewed the city residents and says, what would you like to see? And they're showing the section that we're talking about as a potential future trail, but their priorities, they have a $20 million, you can see the years here. They're showing $20 million worth of bicycle and sidewalk improvements in the city, but it does not include this extension that we're talking about. It does include other connections in that crescent that we discussed. So we, in 2015, just so you're aware, in Hudson, we have been serving Hudson by providing them a new park. We're currently working with them at Maple Grove to build another connection in a park that was purchased with conservation funds, but it allowed some trail network to be installed, so we're working with them on that. So again, 7-mile Freedom Trail, the 7-mile Freedom Trail to Springdale Road Trail serves Metro Parks, our needs, getting people off of the road and providing connectivity. And then Hudson's being served by both legs of the Bike and Hike Trail, and the 3.3 miles of construction rail corridor north of Springdale will be redundant. So there's a lot of conversation. I know that people's phones are ringing and so on. So just so we wanted everybody to know what the different pieces, parts are, and hopefully that makes sense to you. Yes, Joel?
Does that have to go through zoning in those various communities?
It is currently, the trail corridor is owned by Metro RTA through federal, they use federal dollars to buy it.
Yeah.
They're going back to get it turned over so they can use it for recreational. They're going to turn over management of the entire corridor to Summit Metro Parks. And then we, as part of the development, through whoever gets grant funding to construct something, we would work with that entity, if it's not us directly, to make sure that they're working with the local jurisdiction to go through all the requirements. And I think that's all I have.
Thank you.
Sure.
Do you mind hit the lights? But you can leave the shades down. Thank you.
We're always in the dark here.
All right.
And continue. Anything else, Lisa?
Nothing else. Report stands as written.
Okay, thank you for the
You had a question?
presentation.
I had one little question. In the bills paid, there was something, I just didn't, I don't know where to tell you, but it says Nimisila Archery Parking Lot Asphalt. That it's just $150, but what's Nimisila Archery Parking Lot? Does anybody know? We don't have an archery range down.
Well, of course, Dale's on vacation. I'm wondering if that's just a typo, because we don't have an archery range
Yeah, I
there.
couldn't find archery street
So
or anything.
either Tinker's Creek or Steele's Corners, possibly.
It could be a spot for the archery program.
Oh, that's
Oh, for $150, that sounds right.
Yeah, it's probably stone, not asphalt.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
There we go. That kind of archery. Good question.
Anything
that's
else,
it.
Lisa?
That's it.
Any other questions?
No, sir.
Board? Questions? Okay. How about items removed from the consent agenda? Any?
Nothing removed.
Nothing?
No.
Nothing you want to take back? Nothing, okay? We need an approval for that?
Consent agenda stands as written, so need a motion and a second.
Okay.
So moved.
Moved,
I'll second.
second. All in favor? Aye. Approved?
Approved.
Okay.
Good.
How about old business?
None.
No old business? This is an old organization.
True.
How about new business?
No new business. We're busy just working.
You are painless. Painless. All right. How about correspondence? Anybody write us a letter?
No letters.
No letters. Does anybody know we're in business?
I think so.
Oh, good, good. Public.
We do have Bridget.
I do not have a report.
Bridget,
No report today.
you are boring. Come on.
Thank you.
All right.
They're busy working too.
Yes, right. Okay, well, kudos to everybody for where we are, by the way. I mean, in this structure. The structure, I knew this when I was bribing my law professor and taking him to play golf. This was probably the ugliest building in Akron, Ohio. This building.
Who knew this was underneath all
And it
that?
had an upstairs, right?
Yes.
I was up there. Magnificent. I'm really, it's great. So kudos. You have been doing something.
Thank you.
All right. Okay.
We do have a second public portion. We've got Ron Brubaker from Task Force
Okay.
to speak
Mr.
to
Brubaker?
us today. Go ahead up front, and you get 5 minutes, please. Want to take one of these and pass those down?
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for allowing us to talk with you today. My name is Ron Brubaker, founder and co-director of Task Force, an all-volunteer nonprofit organization committed to advocating for more trails in Summit County. Our initial project is to advocate for the Veterans Trail. I've provided you with a flyer about this proposed trail. It will be 12 and a half miles long and connect the communities of Akron, Cuyahoga Falls, Silver Lake, Stowe, and Hudson on a long abandoned railway owned by Metro RTA. The last train ran on this track in 1996. Much of the track has been removed. Crossings have been paved over, and there are literally 50-foot trees growing in the track bed. Yet this right-of-way has long been recognized as a golden opportunity to build a multi-purpose trail. In fact, Summit Metro Parks participated in a 2005 study that explored the possibility of building a trail there. That effort did not move forward due to the high cost and complication of building a trail based on keeping open the option of future rail service. Now, however, Metro RTA is considering allowing the right-of-way to be repurposed as only a multi-purpose trail, which the 2005 study said would cut the cost in half. And AMAS has shown support by including the Veterans Trail in their transportation outlook studies for both 2020, 35, and 45. Task Force began garnering public support for a renewed effort to build the trail in 2019. Since then, we have attended many city council meetings with the 5 communities, attended board meetings for Metro RTA, Summit Metro Parks, AMAS. We've written letters to the editors of local newspapers, given presentations to many community-minded organizations, and conducted other advocacy activities. As a result, we have collected 25 letters of support for the trail, of which I've provided you a list. And we've gathered 339 subscribers on our website who support the trail. The Veterans Trail has actually already met with some success. In 2019, Stowe was awarded a $700,000 TASA grant to relocate 1.5 miles of one on-road trail in Silver Lake and Stowe onto the Metro RTA right-of-way. And in the upcoming round of TASA grants, we have been told that Hudson and Stowe will be filing a joint application for the portion from Springdale Road to Barlow Road. We've also been informed that Cuyahoga Falls will be submitting an application for a portion of the right-of-way in their fine city. However, the project is also facing some obstacles. One is that the county has recommended that a portion of the Springdale to Barlow not be converted to trail use at this time so that rail use would still be possible in the future. Clearly, Hudson and Stowe do not agree with this, as they are applying for funds to build a trail there. But they have been having further discussions with the county, and we are confident that this will get resolved. However, another issue seems to be Summit Metro Parks' position on that same section. They have made it known that SMP has not, to date, agreed to maintain the portion of trail north of Springdale Road. That is unfortunate because the Veterans Trail will intersect with both branches of the SMP Bike and Hike Trail in that area and provide superb connectivity for Hudson and Stowe to all the other trails throughout northern Summit County. Additionally, the Western Reserve Land Conservancy has already agreed to set aside land for the intersection with the northern fork of the Bike and Hike Trail. And the fact that Hudson and Stowe are applying for a joint TASA grant for this portion seems to indicate they are willing to proceed with this portion without SMP support. So the reason that we are here before you today is to respectfully request that you not let people think that SMP objects to building the trail on the portion north of Springdale. We can accept that SMP may not have the resources to maintain it, but we hope that you will support trail development if others are willing to build and maintain it. In fact, if Summit Metro Parks could submit a letter of support stating that, it would be a huge help in getting this project moving. And that letter would help Metro RTA convince the federal rail agency that Summit County is united in its desire for this trail. Task Force holds Summit Metro Parks in very high regard. We respect the work that you do. We love the many fine existing trails in our county, and it serves to whet our appetite for even more. Please consider submitting a letter supporting the northernmost portion of the Veterans Trail. And please know that Task Force Task force stands ready to help with this trail in any way that we can. I'd be happy to answer any questions if that's permitted.
Very good. Thank you, Ron.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank
I
you,
have
sir.
one question. Where do you live now?
I live in Hudson,
Okay. Just interested.
so I'm the Hudson representative. This is my co-director, Bill Seepy. He lives in Stowe. We have a representative at Cuyahoga Falls, and we're looking for representatives from Silver Lake and Akron.
Thank you for your testimony. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
All right. I have a very brief executive session, if you're ready to move to that.
It'd probably take a long.
I knew you'd do that. Where is
It'll
this?
probably be briefer than it'll take you to read that thing.
That's correct. Where is that thing?
It's
So it will be,
Nine.
pick up tab
tab
9.
9.
Tab 9.
There you
Should
go.
know this by heart. Ask for a motion that the Board of Park Commissioners adjourn to executive session to consider appointment, employment, discipline, investigation, promotion, demotion, compensation of some Metro Parks employee, ORC 121.22, et cetera. The purchase of property for public purpose pursuant to ORC 121.22, et cetera, to confer with counsel concerning disputes that are subject of discussion with public employees, pending litigation, imminent litigation pursuant to 121.22, and prepare for discussions with public employees concerning terms and conditions of employment pursuant to 121.22.
So moved.
Thank you.
Don't second. Okay, seconded.
Roll call.
Very
All
good.
in favor?
Aye, you gotta do a
Opposed?
roll
No.
call.
I need to go do a roll call. So,
Okay.
Herb Newman,
Yes.
Joel Bailey,
Yes.
Tanya Block, Mark Spisak,
Yes.
Tina Ugrin.
Yes.
Folks, this is the one
Thank
bit of
you.
humor we go through. Somebody's got to laugh occasionally.
I almost voted no just to make you happy.
Yes. Forget it. Okay, now, why should we kick everyone out? Why don't we leave?
We can. We can.
Well, let's
We're
to
going to go
bed.
have lunch while you all sit here. Okay. Thank you very much.